touch dispenser tool, drop pod tool, whatever, version 3. That's more than likely will be the last feature update that I do for this, because I'm honestly drawing a blank on what else I can actually add to this. But yeah, I think you'll like the new features. Okay, so we're in tools. We're in touch drop pods v3, then we're in drop pod 2. Okay, so the first feature, or the first change that I've made is this is now NPC class. So you can use your own custom class NPCs if you want these. You can use these. You can use these. You can use these. You can use these guys as well. And you can still use your default NPCs from Half-Life, whatever the Humans in Resistance are. So you can still use them. Okay. So that's a new feature. The first new feature to it. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and I'll just throw this guy in, right, and I'll go ahead and spawn it in so you can see. So there we go. As you can see, the custom class that I've just used, and so you can see that the class changes. So I'll go ahead and use, I don't know, we'll use VJ Base, right? We'll use these guys. And just to show you that it works with custom classes. There we are. So there's the VJ Base NPCs, okay? So that just shows you that the classes work. So you're no longer forced to use NPC Combine S, the default Half-Life Hostile class, because the previous version was you just had to change the model of it, and you couldn't actually use custom NPCs, but now you can. Now you can. Second update is this is now optional. Okay, now if you want to use the default model that the NPC comes with, so as you've seen the bug model, well that's a bad example because the VJ Base models don't change. These ones change. So these NPCs here, these guys, these all change. So if you want to use the model that this NPC comes with, or this NPC comes with, then you must 100% leave this field blank. It cannot have anything in it. Okay, but if you put a model path in here, an MDL, it will override the NPC's default model. Okay, so if you use this guy, you can see the model in the image here. If you use this class, so I'll go ahead and I'll show you real quick. And I'll go ahead, get model, I don't know, let's use this bald guy here. Right, so as you can see, it's currently using the model that the NPC comes with, but if I spawn it in now, you can see that the model has been overridden. Okay, so that's what that does. Okay, that overrides the model, so you must leave it blank for the NPC to use the NPC's model. Okay, so just leave that blank if you want to use that one. Okay, this hasn't changed. Drop pod model, you can still have whatever you want in. If I just want to use, I don't know, let's just use a block. You can see it's a block. Okay, or if you want to use, I don't know, let's spawn in a car. So it still works completely fine the way it has been working. So that works, and that is because I removed it when entities were spawning in. So that hasn't changed. NPC weapon, that hasn't changed either. That's AR2, then we'll do SMG1. So those guys have the AR2, and those guys have the SMG1. Okay, so that's how that works. So it still works. It still works fine. Minimum spawn time, that still hasn't changed. So after the drop pod hits the ground, how long do you need to wait before they start spawning in, and what is the maximum amount of time it should take for the rest of the NPCs to spawn in. NPC health, that hasn't changed. You shouldn't need any more than 10,000 HP and you shouldn't need any less than 1. Okay, so you can choose wherever you want. You can also choose a value here, so 45, you can also do that. Drop pod health, the health of the drop pod that comes down, that hasn't changed. You shouldn't need any more than 10,000, you shouldn't need any less than 1,000. NPC amount, how many NPCs actually spawn from the drop pod, 1 or 20 or anything in between. Okay, weapon difficulty, that still hasn't changed, that's the same of how good the NPCs are without weapons. And the last feature for this is NPC relationship. Now, this is a little tricky thing. The way that I'm doing my check is I'm storing the check first before implementing it. Right, so we'll set this to friendly, and I'll go ahead and spawn these guys in. So these guys are friendly, and as you can see they're not attacking me, okay? But if I spawn these guys in as an enemy, okay, these guys will attack me, but they won't attack these guys. So you can see they're attacking me, and these guys aim, but they don't actually shoot. Now that's because of the way that I'm doing my check. Okay, so what you need to do is, if you want the friendly NPCs, if you choose friendly here, if you want them to fight the enemy NPCs, then you must spawn in the enemy NPCs first before spawning in the friendly ones. Okay, I'll probably fix that further down the line. It's not a bug, it's, I don't know, it's just something that's annoying. Okay, so there's the hostile NPCs, and now if I spawn in the friendly, they will attack these guys. There we go. So you can see they're fighting each other now. Right, and that's how that works. Okay, so like I said, if you want the friendly NPCs to attack the hostile NPCs, you must spawn in the hostile NPCs first, then spawn in the friendly NPCs. And the reason for that is, when the friendly NPCs spawn in, it only runs one check to see if there is any hostile NPCs, and if there is hostile NPCs already there, then attack them. But if they're spawned in, they're doing a check, there is no hostile NPCs. When you spawn in the hostile NPCs, it's no longer running the check. I could probably run the check in a think function, but I'd rather not do that. Don't know. But that's the last feature. Okay, so first feature, NPC class, use custom NPCs. Second feature is you can override the model that the NPC has, or you can use the model that the NPC comes with by default. So this is now optional. And the relationship. Okay, so yeah, enjoy.